Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wellbeing Pod. And for today, we have as guest Orphelie Toussaint, who is a student of ours. So, without getting more into details, I will ask Orphelie to give us an introduction on who exactly she is. And there you go, Ophelie.
Thank you so much, Devisha. It is indeed a pleasure to be here and to share my experience with you all. So, as you've heard, my name is Orphelie Toussaint. I am 21 years old and I am a student here as well. So, I am the eldest of my family. I have two siblings, and I would say I am a very determined person when it comes to my goals. So, something that I like to share maybe one of the mottos that I go by is if you want, you can. And just a little backstory about this. It started since like my primary years of schooling. There was a wall actually where this was painted, if you want, you can. So since then, I keep that as a motivator for me to keep thriving into my object, like my goals overall. So yes, and then well, coming back to my studies, I am a final year student in business management. Previously, since my childhood, actually, I didn't want to study. I didn't think of studying business. My first profession choice was to become a lawyer. I was very much passionate about this. However, as I've grown, actually, my interest changed, and being exposed to the family business and everything. So I really want to develop skills in that area, and that is why today I actually aspire to work, especially in the field of supply chain and logistics, and yes, to develop my skills and also to really become qualified in that profession. So that would be it about an introduction about me.
Awesome. Thank you. And so for today, the topic is to get to know you in as a student, but to also have your perspective on what it means to be a student in 2022, and maybe the challenges or like tips that could work for our students or other listeners as well. So could you give us a brief insight on what it means to you to be a student in 2022?
Yes, so actually, I would say to be a student in 2022 for me is like a journey of growth.
Hmm.
Why a journey of growth? When I talk about a journey of growth, it really englobes, having struggles, challenges, but also opportunities where I get to develop myself and actually become a better version. So, as a student, I believe that I am in an environment where I am exposed to a range of resources and get opportunities, to engage in activities and, for example, workshops, just activities to be in different clubs. And this is for me an opportunity because I do realize that it's not given to everyone to be in a university that offers so much in terms of activities. And finally, I would say being a student in 2022 is like getting a glimpse of the professional world. Why? Because we are asked to work in a team, to work in groups. So it really um, helps me to actually prepare myself how I would deal in the future in the professional world while working with my colleagues and having a professional behavior as well. So it is a lot about the preparation of who I want to become in the future as well.
Great. And to delve deeper into that, s- many students, can face challenges
Yes.
in current times, and this is in regards to the pandemic that we went through, but also that's behind us now. So it's more post-COVID, and we are trying to get back to a certain new normal. So, do you
Yeah.
think there were challenges that you've faced so far?
Yes, especially during the pandemic, I faced, I would say, mainly two challenges. The
Hmm.
first one was in terms of the restrictions of movement, not being able to go out as we usually do. I am a very social person and I find joy in doing activities, outdoor activities like hikes, long walks, just being with people, being around people. And during the pandemic, since we were in lockdown, it was a difficult time for me because I couldn't have these.
Mhm.
And yes, so it was difficult to disconnect from the routine, and that was a challenge. The other challenge that I faced was in terms of keeping the balance with my assignments, because since I was at home and almost glued to my desk throughout the day, everything was on the laptop. Communicating to my friends, taking a break, watching a movie was on the laptop, assignments on the laptop. So I was just having the screen in front of me, and it was the interaction with other people was limited, and it was somehow impacting my health negatively. So these were the two main factors, the two main challenges that I faced throughout the pandemic season, I would say. And then after COVID now, the challenge that I say I face is in terms of I'm used now to being online, to having that virtual world, and I need to remind myself from time to time, you can get back to the interactions you used to like, to love. So this, I would say, is still something I'm working on and reminding myself from time to time.
Okay. And what do you think helped you to overcome these challenges that you're facing now after the pandemic?
Yes, in terms of interaction with people, mainly the fact that now I'm seeing, there are no more restrictions, and even the university, for example, is encouraging us to be on campus, to meet with our lecturers, with our friends. So somehow I'm getting back to normal. When it comes to the balance and also being able to go out, it was like some advices that I got from my surroundings, having a good plan, not a good plan only for the assignments, because for this I had no issue with that, but a plan for my life as a whole in terms of keeping the balance, trying to really have time. This is just for me, this is just for my health, for example, this is just to reconnect with family members. So I really learned, and I'm still learning to put these into practice so that I am able to keep the balance and be healthy.
Awesome. And do you have tips to make such a plan? Like how do you go about it?
So actually, it depends on, I would say, not my mood, but it depends on the circumstance that I'm facing as well. Because an example, a genuine example would be one week, I would be able to feel like, exercising every day, for example. But other weeks I might be, maybe just 3 times a week. So it really depends on like to my needs. So I adapt to what I feel I need, and then I plan on that. So for example, when it regards eating healthy, to ensure keeping the balance, because I did realize as well, if for example you've been eating out a lot, you do see the difference, while if you have been preparing your own food, and you also find a joy in that as well. So in regards to how do I make the plan, it really depends on my needs. So adjusting to what I need, and also adjusting to the plans, because every time we might have a perfect plan, but there are external factors coming to adjust it, and we have to adjust these and to go as per again our needs and what is needed around us as well.
Hmm. Exactly. So reevaluating a little bit as you go and as things around you are happening and what you can
Yeah.
do to actually handle those better. Definitely. Okay, so in your own way, what would you do to improve the average student experience if you could?
Yes. Well, something I think I can share a little bit more about, since I joined university. How did I do to really get the most of my student experience? For example, when I joined university in my first year, I was not too at ease in public speaking, but I really wanted to improve in that. So I was like, okay, how do I take that step? And then I got to know that there was going to be a competition, HSBC competition. So it was still in the field of business, which is one of my interests, and also, giving me the opportunities to actually put that skill into practice. So I was like, it is now or never to actually dive into it and give it a try and make the most of this university experience. So this is an example of how I would consider making the most out of a student experience, as in taking part of activities, really engaging, even in class, engaging with your classmates, engaging with the lecturers, also contributing ideas,
Mm.
attending workshops, seminars, um, just overall activities, and even being part of different clubs because these represent our interest. For example, I am part of Road Track Club, and given that I really like to go out, meet people, and at the same time give back to the community. So this club has given me the opportunity to do all that, and at the same time to develop myself personally and professionally. So, and even I'm also even in the adventure club where I can join them on different outings. So yes, it is about really matching your interests and also what is already being offered because my student experience might not be the same as another student depending on what we like and what we're expecting throughout this journey.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes some students may not know what is it that maybe interests them and all. So
Mhm.
do you think there are tips that you have that helped you to kind of find out what you like to do on campus, like which club to join, what exactly to reach out to?
Mhm. Well, I do understand this. Sometimes you might not know what you want until you try. So that's okay to try. It's fine to join every society and then see if this is adapting to my needs, if I'm really interested in that subject. And then I saw that last time. And if there's no society that is matching your need as well, you can create one. So there's no limit to what you can do. And again, trying to mingle with your classmate, get to know each other, and then something maybe that I'm not used to, I wasn't used to, can be developed because I have friends that like this and I now know that I maybe would like to join that too. So it is really about, I think it is about trying, and as some would say, we're young, and it is the time to try new things and see if we adapt and if we like it or not.
That's a great advice indeed. Now, when it comes to mental health and well-being, do you have tips or like things that you did or still doing that helps you?
Yes. So when it regards mental health and well-being, for me, I would say like I have different branches, if that can be seen as this. And for example, for me, it starts with my faith. I was talking about this last time. It is really the pillar that holds me together,
Mhm.
my spirituality. For example, every morning I wake up and I need that time where I will be able to meditate, have that connection, be able to read my Bible, to pray, sometimes cry and praise, worship, and it really gets me prepared for what's coming and actually prepare me even to deal with other people because sometimes if we're unwell when we are unable to communicate properly and also understand others. So for me, that every morning, that time is really important, and if I need that during the day, I will try to find an exit door and try to have that time again or just in my mind praying silently, and it really helps me to focus as well and to somehow plan my day and know that I have put my trust in him and he will be the one guiding me. So my faith is the main pillar, I would say, helping me to have a stable mental health and to be well overall. And then I do various other activities such as exercising. It can be every day for 30 minutes, but it can be just a few times a week to keep in shape and to really help me just spend energy. And then it's also about taking care of my pets. I have three pets, so I take care of them, and it is really a good way to release negative thoughts, to release anxiety, and to feel well, to feel connected, as well as nature. Well, I am blessed to live in the West Coast, so I can easily go on hikes and go to the beach to have long walks. And these really help me to connect also with nature and disconnect with, for example, my assignments, my studies, things that are stressing me. And this is how I try to keep my balance. And recently I am learning to also take care of myself by communicating, by sharing about how I feel, and it is a relief. Trust me, it might not be easy to everyone to talk about things when things are not going the way we want, but I have noticed I am learning to grow on that path, and I have noticed that it is helping, and I would advise that to you guys as well if you feel like overwhelming. So it is important to find someone you trust, may it be a family member, may it be a professional who can help you sort the thoughts out and really um, get things done in a calm mind, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The holidays are coming up, and usually we know December is filled with deadlines, still assignments you have to submit, and all that. But we still have to, as you said, very right, take care of yourself or like have balance as well. So, how do you think you personally would manage this, being able to fulfill your deadlines, but at the same time take care of yourself?
Yes, actually, I forgot to talk about a little bit about this when you said about mental health, when you asked about mental health and well-being. For example, I know that if I will be too close to my deadlines and have not completed my works, I will be stressed. So what I do to prevent that stressful moment and to take care of myself, if I can say, like preparing for the future, I would start planning early. So as soon as I know there will be an assignment, maybe next year, I already have a plan, really showing the processes that I will go through, planning, okay, these are the researchers, maybe this is the date, this is the deadline that I have to find research, this is the deadline that I have to start writing. So it helps me keep track of what I want to accomplish. So in a way, I'm taking control of my assignments. And for me, taking control of certain things help me to be calm because I know, okay, so this is done, there is nothing that I'm going to miss on that. So when it comes to assignment, and indeed in December I do have a lot of deadlines, even in January, at the beginning of January. So what I started to do since October, I would say early November, end of October, early November, I started the planning of my assignments and really started working on them. So as of now, for example, I'm fully into the assignments, and let's say in 2 to 3 weeks time, I will be done. So this helps me to ensure that I will have time during the holiday season. I will have time to spend with my family and to take care of myself too. So I think again, planning is very important here. Planning ahead, really trying to see, okay, next month, what will come? Because it did happen to me sometimes where I didn't pay attention to what's coming. For example, September is a month that is quite busy for me in terms of family birthdays. And when there's family birthdays, you have to attend. You have to attend, to be there, present. And it happened once where I didn't consider that. When I say busy September, I easily have 5 to 6 birthdays. So it keeps me busy.
Ooh.
You have to attend and close family, close relatives. And if, for example, I know it's going to be a busy period for me, and I know that I do have responsibilities at school or even at work if you're working and you have an internship. So it is important that you plan and try to do things accordingly so that when you are in that period, you're not struggling and it is not stressful. And again, you fall sick or you're just not managing. So planning would be the main thing for me.
Mhm. Okay. One thing, well, one other challenge that some students may face is sometimes a lack of motivation as well. Uh,
Mhm. Yes.
how how would you push yourself or like be motivated when you don't feel that motivation coming?
Mhm. This is a very good question. And I would say to keep the motivation, I always remind myself. why did I start at the first place? For example, for my studies, there are so many reasons why I'm studying business, not only business, but like why I'm studying broadly, why I am continuing my tertiary education. So if every time when discouragement is going to come, I think when we remind ourselves why we started, it brings back the energy, the motivation to actually work towards it. And so for me, it works like this. I remind myself, and I also have actually visual representation.
Mm.
Some people call this, I think it is about manifesting what we want. So it is related to that, but I won't call it that way as I do. But I do have like representations of where I want. An example, in my room, I have a board
Mm.
with a graduation hat. So this is going to remind me that this is where I want to be. And this is now I have to work towards that. So
Mm.
if I have assignments and I feel like, oh, there are just too many. But then I will look at that, but I'm like, but you have to take this road to reach to that goal that you want. So it keeps me going. And instead of, being a burden, it becomes really the motivation that we need to actually be on that road to reach that destination. So yes, that would be my tip to really get a notebook, get a sheet of paper, and write the reasons why you're doing this. And if you can't, sometimes it happens too that you just do something, you're trying maybe, and you haven't started this because you have an aim or you have goals behind, but you just want to try, and that's okay. But then again, see what this will actually bring in the future. So if you're, for example, if you started studying, if someone started studying, but without really having a goal, okay, why am I really doing this? Just maybe to please others or just to do certain things, then I would advise to think of what will be the reward afterwards of having that degree and being that having that qualification actually. So for me, the reward and the main goal is
Mm.
what keeps me going.
So keeping focus on where you want to reach and your end goal, technically.
Yes,
So keep
exactly.
reminding yourself. That's a very good advice, Ophelie, to visualize what is it that we want
Mm.
and clearly designing maybe steps to achieve that.
Yes.
Okay, one last question before we leave you. So, if you were to leave us with a message of how just to improve life in general, or like a motto that worked for you, what would that be?
Well, as a message to the listeners, I would mainly encourage you to actually never give up. It relates to the previous question you asked me, Devisha, because if we started something, is because there is something we want at the end. So sometimes life can get really hectic, can get discouraging, and there might be situations that come in, and that's okay. That is life. That is how challenging life can get. And sometimes there are things that just are not in our control. But what I would like to actually say to our listeners today is to never give up and to actually keep believing in themselves, believing in their capabilities, in their abilities of doing what they want to do, and to actually go to where they want to be. And so, yes, do not give up and remember that you are unique, and that is unique in every sense, in terms of your personality, in terms of what you want, your goal, and everything. So, yes, keep going, keep the smile, keep smiling at life, taking opportunities, never stop um, trying things because, again, we are new. So, I will end with that motto that I started acquiring since my primary years of schooling. If you want, you can. And if you really want to be that person, to do that specific thing, I believe that you can. And you have all the resources, all the abilities to reach there. So
Thank you
yes.
so much, Ophelie. And this was a truly inspirational session that we had to kind of get us to think about where that fits in our lives and where we want to be actually and what we need to do. So thank you again. It was lovely to have you as our guest. Until next time.
Yeah, surely it was a pleasure to share my experience with you. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.